Hi, welcome to the Chiro Central segment of the Max Life Show. We're here on site at the Maximize Living Experience. I'm here with two amazing doctors of chiropractic, Dr. James Judge, Dr. Neil Rowe. Dr. Neil's going to be helping me do some of these shows. And we've got an amazing Chiro Central show for you today because we're talking about the healthcare principle that will save billions of people around the world. This really is for Maximize Living like our civil rights movement because people have a right to live the truth about health and life versus what they're hearing today. And one of the things I always say is that it's not so much the lies of healthcare that are wrong, it's the stuff that people think is true that isn't. Because you just go around believing there's just something about health and wellness that is true, and it turns out it's just something societies believe that completely doesn't work. And the reason I wanted to start there is because Dr. James, you actually didn't grow up in this sort of weird universe of healthcare. You grew up in a chiropractic family, so you've gotten to live this principle since birth.
Yeah. It felt like when I explained this to people that I've lived in a bubble, till I was about 12 years old. I was never vaccinated. I didn't take medications. I didn't go to doctors. My doctor was my chiropractor. That was my uncle that came to my house. So, I lived in this strange world, and I didn't start to experience the other world until, I started seeing other people's families go through the disease process and problems in their own health. So yeah, that's a completely different mindset that we have with a chiropractic family.
And your family, you don't have the weird sort of things that we call normal childhood illnesses. That is not the kind of stuff you experience.
Yeah, when I'm little, like I said, I didn't have a medicine cabinet, so I didn't have any problems. The biggest problem I had was the flu, and again, we understood how that process worked with the philosophies that we've been ingrained with since I was born. So those little things, the allergies and the asthmas and all these things that happen to kids I see in my practice, it just didn't exist in our family. And it's because the way we've lived our life and how we, understood how the body worked.
Yeah, and I would say I was raised and nurtured on the medicine cabinet. Yeah. So we had, right there in Mayfield Heights, we had these two corner cabinets, and we needed two. They pulled out, and you had every drug known to mankind. Every prescription we ever took was still up there in case you wanted to go back to one. I used to have stomach trouble, and there was these little gross yellow pills I would chew on. I don't even know what they were, some sort of toxin, and that's how we were raised. And we did have every childhood illness, and obviously since families like yours don't, my kids now are growing up in a chiropractic family. My kids have never had a vaccination, never had a drug, and so for them, we don't have any asthma, ADHD, infections, flus, colds, and none of that stuff. Ear infections doesn't exist in my house yet. For myself and my brothers, we had all of that. Mm-hmm. So obviously something about the way of living, something about not being adjusted, and something really about the treatments you're getting, the vaccines and the drugs themselves, obviously are at cause to what these things are. And I know, Neil, you didn't grow up in a chiropractic home either.
Yeah, ours was a very medical family. My mom was a nurse, and so we'd get sick, and it was right to the cupboard, climb up the step stool because you're not big enough to get on the counter, and you'd reach up, and it was Pepto-Bismol. It was always pink stuff. So you open up this Pepto-Bismol, and you drink out of the bottle, and you just drink until you started to feel better. And that's how we lived. We colds, flus, home from school all the time. We were always home from school, and we'd come home and we'd sit on the couch, and my mom would give us 7-Up, and so we'd pour a whole bunch of sugar into a cup, and here you go, we help you get better. Our mentality as far as how the body heals was just very, very symptom-based. It was treat a symptom versus understanding how God designed us to heal and stay well. And it's the same thing like you, Dr. Ben. I get to see with my daughters now. They're always well all the time, and people tell me your girls are so healthy and they're so advanced, and it's like, well, they're not advanced, they're normal. That's how God created them to be. Your kids just are lagging behind, or they're not able to express that potential that God put inside of them. And I think that's the thing that's so beautiful about what we teach within chiropractic is that principle, that understanding.
And we say the principle. So Dr. James, so for you all your life, and now obviously for your patients, what is producing health?
Well, I don't want to paint the picture that I never actually got sick. It's just the way that I handled it when I did get sick was completely different. Again, he's chugging down Pepto-Bismol, I'm getting adjusted. And that's the difference. If I can say anything to anyone out there, it's just understanding that the body has everything it needs to heal. And I've learned that since the day I was born. I've been adjusted since birth. So those things, those normal things that happen to kids, it just didn't happen to me because my body was doing everything it needed to do, because it had the proper communication from above, down, inside out every single day of my life.
if my kids say they're sick, I'm despondent.
Yeah.
Like we don't like the word sick at all in our house. So our kids go down.
Yeah.
So I have 3, and in any given month, one of them could be down. So it's not that there's no symptoms being expressed at all, but it's not some full-blown diagnosed condition they're taking a drug for. And when they're sick, what they say, again, feeling sick, what we call expressing symptoms, they come to us and say, I need to be adjusted.
Yep.
Turn my power on, Daddy. My wife's a chiropractor too. Turn my power on, Mommy. And so when we talk about producing health, it's when somebody's expressing symptoms, something's wrong, we remove the interference of the nervous system, allow the body to restore itself and heal itself and recover and produce health from within, not by the first gut thing isn't what can I give you, what can you take? It's how can we produce it once again through the power that God already gave you.
Right. See, and the symptom is actually a good thing, because it's trying to help you. Your body is actually trying to kill whatever's trying to kill you, a virus, bacteria, whatever it is. So if we can work with that power and just allow that power to express itself at a fuller potential, then you're going to be healthier for long term, rather than, again, covering those symptoms up with a pill, a potion, or a lotion, an Advil. I didn't even know what that stuff was until I went to my friend's house when I was 12, and he opened his medicine cabinet, and there's all these things up there that I had never seen in my life. And again, if you understand the body, you understand it has everything it needs. You don't need that outside stuff to consume when you are sick or expressing symptoms, like you said.
Explain, Dr. Neal. So because those symptoms have purposes. Could you get into a little bit of that for us?
I think the mindset that you just explained right there is amazing. Is that it's a good thing, that it's a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk with our patients. We tell them, "Oh, I have a headache or I have a digestive issue." We say, "Thank God you have that," and it's your body warning you or telling you that what's been happening can't continue.
Right. And
too many times we just believe this, that if we have a symptom, something's going really wrong, when in reality, the way that we're created is that symptom is the right response at the right time. Like you said, the fevers is raising the body temperature so that your immune system can function at a higher level. It raises the temperature within your body so that now a bacteria can't spread, a virus slows down, it actually improves the immune function, and it allows you to heal quicker and stay alive longer. And in the process, just like lifting weights, your muscles get stronger, your immune system gets stronger. And so when we see those symptoms as a great thing and our body trying to speak to us, when we respond to that saying, okay, with the chiropractic principle, understanding that the body's designed to heal from above, down, inside out, that the healing's inside of you, now we respond in a way that works with the body, we create long-term health. And so again, I talk about my kids, I just love it, because if my kids can understand it, then that means anybody can understand it. So I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, and her name is Hope, and she knows that if she has something, like she came in the other night, she knocked on the door at 3 in the morning, she says, "Daddy, I need to be adjusted." I think she was scared, or I don't know what was going on, but she knew that she wasn't expressing or feeling life at 100%. I need to be adjusted. And so I asked her, "Hope, well, who heals? We adjust the bone, but who heals? God heals, Dad." Mm-hmm. And she can get that. And if the average person can just understand that, their entire future looks different. That's how now you don't even need the medicine cabinet anymore.
I think the trap most people get in is, again, it's expressing a symptom and then trying to cover it up. And I always use the analogy in my practice. It's the oil light flashing in your car, and if you had a black piece of masking tape and put it over the oil light and kept driving your car and didn't change the oil, your car eventually shuts down. So again, we understand these symptoms in chiropractic. We understand that we need to work with these symptoms to allow the body to heal and process those problems out of you so the body doesn't get sick again down the road. Because if we're just covering symptoms up and not actually correcting the cause of those problems, then we're all in bad shape.
Yeah, and the fact is some of them are problems. Like I remember this old drug commercial that said Excedrin PM for your normal everyday evening headache. That's a warning. We need to address the cause of that, because that's your brain telling you something's wrong. And then there's the symptoms that we want to encourage to happen. So somebody's coughing, sneezing, they're not sick, they're getting well. Their body's getting out things that don't belong. The idea of taking a drug to shove it back in seems really insane once you understand this principle. Same thing with somebody throwing up at the side of the road. Somebody says, hey, look, they're getting sick. I'm like, no, they're getting well. Whatever was in needs to get out. We need to support that. And you even see sometimes you adjust somebody and they further express symptoms. Somebody comes and says, man, can you stop my cold or flu? And it's like, well, actually, when we adjust you, hopefully things may kick in even stronger to get even rid of it even faster. Yeah. So Dr. James, we're talking a bit abstract about the power, or that the body has what it needs. So we make that adjustment. So somebody's thinking, okay, well, what does an adjustment have to do with this power? So you make that adjustment. How does that, in fact, restore power? And then what is the ultimate effect of that on the human body, including the immune system?
Well, your body's a very intelligent being. You know, it knows how to heal. We have this thing called interference, so it's called a subluxation that interferes with the body's healing process. So when I say I'm adjusting somebody, I'm removing that interference. A spinal bone has shifted out of alignment, causing pressure on your nervous system that's depleting life, whether it's to your immune system, whether it's to your heart, whether it's to your lungs, whether it's to your digestive system. Something's not working correctly if that pressure's left there. And if that pressure's left there over time, that's when we begin to experience symptoms. And the symptom is actually the side effect of the subluxation. So again, we're not just covering up problems, we're actually getting to the cause of the problem, removing that interference so the body can express life and actually correct the symptom. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dr. Neal, I think the thing that's so radically different about that from how everybody else thinks, and I can see the people watching and having like smoke coming out of their ears because people are so conditioned to treat a symptom. And even people who look at chiropractors normally would say, yeah, well, that's who you go to for this, and it's whatever, back pain, headaches, or even a disease. Whatever you think you go to us for is wrong because it's, you know, we don't treat something, we're restoring people's ability to be well, to heal themselves. And so when we talk about, for example, I've got an article here on antibiotics. And so it's saying that that 95% of all patients who seek help for a cold get drugs, even though antibiotics do not help colds. There's not a cure for the cold other than what the body's already doing to heal itself. And so when we're talking about treatment versus what we do, let's try and help them understand that a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think where so many people can feel frustrated is because they're always trying to treat a symptom, they're judging what they did based on the response of the symptom, and they can get frustrated or they can get challenged. And I've seen it where parents will demand an antibiotic from the doctor, and so the doctor just writes them a prescription knowing that it does no good. And I think the biggest difference is that mindset, of that understanding of how our body heals, because if we believe that we have to do something to improve healing, we're always going to try and look for the antibiotic, or we may look for some sort of nutritional supplement or some sort of essential oil or something where we're still trying to treat a symptom and it gets to be gray, versus understanding that the body is created to heal itself and be well. And I think what you said there is people will even go to chiropractors and try and treat symptoms, and that's not what we do. All we do is remove interference so the body can heal at its optimal level. We can't improve healing. We can't heal anybody. That's just not possible. No doctor can heal anybody. All we can do is remove things that would get in the way from that normal expression of life. And so when patients come in, we talk to them and say, we're going to move the bone and allow God to do the healing. We're just going to allow that healing to happen at a more optimal optimal level. That's where you get normal function.
Yeah.
I just search for things that, so like I said, I still express symptoms. And when I look at my life and what I've done the past 2 or 3 months to allow it to get to the point where it's not expressing at full potential, I fix it, and that's what the different mindset I think that I have with most people is that we're looking for something else to fix what you've actually caused because you're not expressing life at 100%.
And that's what you just said there is so powerful, because so much about maximized living is that you're at cause in your life.
Yeah.
That you would look at any circumstance you're in and say, what did I do to get myself here? So I'm exactly the same way, and you see that so rarely. If I'm run down, if I'm expressing symptoms, I don't go, man, what overcame me? Like, what little bug that I can't see got in me? Who sneezed on me? Whose fault in the room was it when that made me sick? No one made me sick. No circumstance got me unhealthy. There's something I did that lowered my resistance, that allowed myself to get sick, which means I'm in charge of also getting well.
Yep.
And I just have to get back on track and know that I'll heal myself. One other thing, Dr. James, I want to run past you to another article here, because we take care of a lot of kids, and most people say, kids to a chiropractor, that seems kind of crazy, and yet here in USA Today, they actually did a story on a pediatrician that had sent the actual 3-month-old baby to a chiropractor, and people, they're sort of responding to the fact that people thought, well, that's kind of weird. Why would you ever send a 3-month-old baby to a chiropractor? Of course, we're like, well, why are you 3 months late? We're adjusting them since birth, and so it's a great article in terms of saying, yeah, it's a lot of baby see chiropractors. It's great that pediatricians are finally coming on board. But what they missed is, of course, why did the pediatrician send this baby to the chiropractor? And of course, it was to treat something. The neck was stiff. The child couldn't lay on its stomach, and it was back to the structural things again. So once again, from your experience, how would we look at taking care of a baby, taking care of somebody from birth till the end of life?
Well, again, I heard somewhere just recently that 95% of babies have some sort of interference in their spine, okay, because of the way they were sitting in the womb or the birthing process or what have you. There's interference there. So again, when I was adjusted since the day I was born, it wasn't because I was expressing symptoms. My grandfather just wanted to make sure that I was expressing life at 100%. And I think that's, again, the big difference that most people don't understand. It's not about torticollis or back pain or headaches or getting rid of colic. We want to make sure since day one that that body is expressing life at 100%, so those things don't ever have to, be expressed. That's the huge difference.
Yeah, and so for your kids, it's never been about something being wrong with them, they need to see a chiropractor. There's a whole philosophy of life that's different when it comes to parenting.
Absolutely. They just understand that they get adjusted because something's going right.
Right.
They're healthy because something's going right. Mom and dad are well because something's going right. And I like what you shared, James, there is just about like if something goes wrong, you look for that. Like sometimes there's this mindset of like things could never go wrong, but life happens, and life can be chaotic and crazy, and it changes and it adapts, and our body, thank goodness, adapts with it. And so we just know that something's going right if we ever express a symptom, but we know that the body will always try to respond.
Right.
Yeah, we're fighting for our kids' health so that they don't end up fighting disease. That's every day. What do we have to do to fight for their health? I'm not waiting for something to go wrong. I'm not waiting to be victimized by any particular condition. We're always working towards better health, through our 5 essentials by making sure their spine is in alignment.
So again, in kids in my practice even, if they have symptoms being expressed from day one to day whatever it is, we always look for what's causing that symptom. And it's something, whether it's, nutrition, exercise, diet, whatever, but for the most part, it's something that's been misaligned, not allowing that innate potential inside to express life at full potential.
All right, well, it's time for a couple of segments here. Let's see, we'll go, Dr. Neal will do yours first. It's time for your Rorschach speed round. Okay. We try and get a little bit into your brain, find out, just how sane or crazy you are. Just say the first thing that comes to your head. There's really it's 1 second to answer. There's really no wrong answers, just wrong people.
Okay.
So, Brad Cooper, Liam Neeson, or Tom Cruise?
Liam Neeson.
Nice. You're
shaken.
Yeah. Novel or nonfiction?
Novel.
#1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world?
Muhammad Ali.
What's funny is that every time I ask that question, somebody tells me somebody like from history, like this. So that's just been the last person said Mike Tyson. Starbucks or Tivana?
Neither. I just water.
Nice. Okay, you passed. All right, Dr. James. This is our segment. In my professional opinion, tell us about bottled water.
It's horrible.
Why is it horrible?
Toxic and acidic.
What should people do instead?
Drink filtered water from a different source.
in like a glass or something.
Yes.
Bench press or burpee?
Bench press. Come on.
Why?
Because it's just awesome.
You didn't get your massive pecs from burpeeing?
No,
Okay.
burpees suck.
So,
I don't care who you are, Fred Roberto.
So, max out. So I get a lot of questions about alcohol. Yes, no, maybe. What's the story on health and alcohol?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it. Chiro Essential, Max Life. Thanks, guys.
Max out.